Yo, it's your boy GT here from the Gangster Times. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Also hit me up on Instagram, which is gangstertimes_official, and on my Snapchat, type in the search box. Two men from Bradford have been jailed for a long time over a failed contract killing carried out in Leeds. Zeshaam Khan and Khawaar Awan used a sawn-off shotgun and a handgun to fire shots at Rafiq Khan as he returned to his home in Britannia Gardens in Pudsey at around 12:30 on June the 10th, 2018. The victim got into his house without being injured, but bullets hit the door and windows. Police were called and he and his partner fled before they arrived. Leeds Crown Court heard there was no evidence of the motive for the attempted murder or links between the shooters and the victim, but there was some evidence that the victim involved with drugs and the shooters are believed to have been hired to carry out a hit on him. Khan and Awan were both convicted of attempted murder and 2 counts of possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life following a trial. They were also convicted of robbery and 1 count of possession of an imitation firearm with intent to cause fear of violence in relation to a separate incident on December the 9th, 2018. Khan was also convicted of possession of a firearm with intent to cause fear of violence and pleaded guilty to importing Class A drugs in relation to 2 separate incidents. And yesterday, Khan of Bradford was handed an extended sentence with a custodial period of 28.5 years and an extended licence period of 5 years. Awan, who's 23 of Great Horton, was handed an extensive sentence with a custodial period of 21 years and an extended licence period of 3 years, so we're talking 50 years in total for both of them. And they will have to serve at least 2/3 of their custodial periods. A third man, Zeshaam of Bradford, was given a 2-year community order after pleading guilty to assisting an offender in relation to the robbery. The order has requirements to complete 160 hours of unpaid work, 30 days of rehabilitation activity, and abide by electronically monitored curfew for 4 months. So Khan and Awan and another man drove from Bradford to Pudsey on the night of the attempted murder. Khan and Awan lay in wait with the firearms in an alleyway at the side of the property. The pair had to climb over a wall before firing the shots, which gave the man time to run into his home. Shots were fired at head height through the door and kitchen window. The court heard some of the bullets went through the full depth of the house, but the couple survived the attack without being injured. The pistol used during the incident was later recovered by police in Manchester and was found to have been used during other serious crimes. Khan was also involved in a drug smuggling offence during the period of offending. He travelled to Lahore in Pakistan on October 17, 2018 and returned to the UK 2 days later, where he was arrested in possession with more than 5 kilos of heroin and it had a 71% purity. He pleaded guilty to that offence on the basis that he was acting as a courier to pay off a £5,000 drug debt. There was also an armed robbery where Khan and Awan also robbed a businessman outside his factory in Bradford on December 9, 2018. The victim was punched, kicked and struck with an imitation sawn-off shotgun outside Maharaja Textiles on Cemetery Road. An employee who was with him was also attacked and knocked unconscious before around £7,000 was taken from the businessman. And then there was another shooting. The court heard Khan was also paid to shoot at a man in Bradford on June 25, 2019 on Withings Close. He went to the street with another man who handed Khan a shotgun, which he fired twice. CCTV footage from the area showed children running from the street as the shots were fired. Quite surprisingly, Khan had no previous convictions and Awan had no similar previous convictions. Sentencing the men, Judge Rodney Jameson QC said, "One sensible conclusion is that you were attempting to carry out a contract killing on behalf of someone or others, and that is the conclusion I have reached. He told Khan you think yourself as a gangster and acted as one in a very serious nature of offences. You are lacking in remorse. You are, in my judgment, a very dangerous man." So Detective Superintendent Carl Galvin of West Yorkshire Police's lead for serious and organised crime said, "The shooting in Pudsey and the subsequent robbery caused considerable and understandable concern in the local community. I am pleased to say that the 2 offenders have now been brought to justice. The thorough and detailed investigations into what happened and the subsequent extended sentences that these 2 have received show that such incidents will not be tolerated. Officers working on Programme Precision, assisted by colleagues in districts and wider partners, are working together to prevent serious and organised crime from happening in the first place, and then bringing offenders to justice when it does. Thankfully, no one was injured during the shooting in Pudsey, but it was a very distressing time for the people inside. Likewise, the robbery in Bradford was a very traumatic experience for the victim. I hope that the lengthy sentences handed down to these two will bring some closure to and help to reassure the communities we will serve that this level of criminality will not be tolerated. So guys, crazy news that coming from Bradford, where two men have been jailed for nearly 50 years for an attempted murder and a robbery. Let me know what you guys think. A teenage boy has been convicted over the needless and tragic murder of a 17-year-old boy following a row over a payment for drugs. Jamali Malik Deacon Matthew was stabbed close to the underpass leading to Northwick Park Underground Station on November the 12th last year. The boy was found guilty of murdering Jamali on Thursday the 17th of June at Harrow Crown Court. He pleaded guilty to possession of a pointed and bladed article at the start of the trial. 16 years old at the time of the killing, he will be sentenced at the same court on July the 29th. The court heard how Jamali, who lived in Brent, had left the college to meet a friend on November the 12th and then headed to Northwick Park at 1:35 p.m. His friend had received a phone call from an unknown number asking to meet him to buy some cannabis. It is now known that the caller was the defendant. Once in the park, Jamali and his friend approached the defendant, at which point the friend handed over a number of bags of cannabis. The defendant then refused to hand over any money. Instead, he drew a knife from a black sheath which was hidden under his clothing to threaten the boys. Jamali drew a copper pipe he had in his bag to defend himself, but he was stabbed in the abdomen and the right shin by the defendants in the process. Witnesses told the court that Jamali was hunched over holding his stomach and barely made it a short distance before collapsing. Emergency services arrived quickly, but despite their best efforts, Jamali was pronounced dead at the scene. The defendant walked off after the stabbing and officers immediately started the search for him. They caught up with him in Stonebridge, however the 16-year-old ran away onto a railway line to avoid police. He threw away his school ID card and mobile phone, later found by officers. 4 days later, he handed himself in at Colindale police station and was arrested. CCTV and phone work revealed the boy had been in the area 20 minutes before the stabbing and had boasted over text that he was planning to rob Jamali's friend for cannabis. Detective Inspector Harbe Kuna said this was a needless and tragic killing of a young boy, a terrible loss of life over an argument that should never have taken place. I would like to thank the officers who worked tirelessly to get justice for Jamali and his family. It was the fast work of the team that led to the subject handing himself in and identifying him at the scene, which was fundamental to the case. No family should have to go through what Jamali's have, and my thoughts continue to be with them as this case comes to a close. So I just want to say rest in peace, Jamali, and my condolences go out to your family. So guys, there's a couple of stories for you. Let me know what you think, and also, if you like the video, smash the like, and please subscribe to my channel. It's your boy GC. Keep it locked, keep it real.